What's up, everyone? Beast Mode back here with another video. So today we are going to review the War League flow, essentially, policies, expectations. Just going to give a quick rundown of what the War League is really all about from week to week. And I have a good friend here and a expert when it comes to War League, Insidious. Say hi to everybody.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
All right. So we want to make this video kind of quick. It's not going to include every little bit of everything, but most of you should have already read policies, which is posted in the Discord server, but I know a lot of people don't. So we're going to kind of go through some of the policy here. I'm going to let Insidious speak on most of this stuff because he's more aware of it than I am, and he can get down to nitty gritty. So take it away, my friend.
All right, so we're going to start with the before the week starts. So we have a team submissions. So this is something the captain will do, or they can delegate someone on their team if the captain is not available. Throughout the week, maybe around Thursday or so, we're going to put out the submission link in the council channel. That's just for chiefs and captains. On there, on that submission form, will be 5 slots along with the ability to attach 5 files, preferably PDF, of the deck list. So you will put your starting 5 in order A, B, C, D, E, and their deck list, and that will be submitted. We received that and by Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, and then one of the chiefs will put out for pairings that everyone keeps asking for, even though the season has not started yet. And you will see your matchup, whatever letter you are, say your letter A, and you will face the opposing team's player A. So once that occurs, you have 48 hours to get into contact, schedule a match, find out what their hours are for playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and you will schedule a match with them. If you are having issues, if you're unable to schedule a match with them, either due to scheduling conflicts or just inactivity, you talk to your captain and they raise it to the Chiefs, and then we have a sit down with both captains and see what's going on. Do we need a sub or is this doable? Uh, you're not required to schedule a match if you and your opponent are trustworthy of each other and you know you can get it done eventually, then by all means. But if you don't do a hard schedule and one party complains, then that opens up possibilities to a substitute. So my recommendation is as soon as the pairings are posted, reach out to your opponent via the Discord DM. Tell them your hours of availability, and hopefully they get back to you. And you get yourself a set hour. Don't just say a big range because again, that just opens up a can of worms sometimes. Say, yes, I'm available, say Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 p.m., whatever, and
Eastern
like get
time, right? We'll just use that as an example. 4 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you're
yep.
specific with your time zones.
Yep. We have had issues before in the GOAT League where people said, sure, let's do 1 p.m., except one's in Eastern and one's in Central. That Um, so that's that. So that's submissions and scheduling. So you want to schedule within the first 48 hours. If you can't, if you cannot, then we will possibly pursue a substitute. If you miss your scheduled match, the opponent if the opponent or whoever showed up to the match at that time has priority to reschedule it. So you get one chance to player match. Of course, the player has to be reasonable. They can't just give us a tiny 4 in the morning window for you to meet, but they do get priority in how they want to reschedule it. Now, if this occurs in the last 48 hours of the week, so Friday and Saturday, you need a substitute ASAP. As in, if they're not there, you're taking a loss, which is not good for your team. So again, those 48-hour windows in the beginning of the week and the end of the week are important. They definitely helped in season 2 of Go Fortnite War League. We had a big decrease in unplayed games, and we feel that It's something important for newcomers to understand so that they don't get caught, having to substitute or have disputes.
I think that is well said so far.
As for playing the match, so as standard, as we do not have a GOAT format channel on Dueling Book, you would be hosting in Unlimited. It would be a best 2 out of 3 match. We don't do singles. We do not do watch passwords, and make sure to select the box towards the bottom right that says classic. That will make it so you don't have to choose zones and the layout looks more old school. So
Mm-hmm.
no problems, no other stuff, I think. What else? You again, of course, you draw on the first turn,
Mm-hmm.
and that is that. So you play your match. When you are about to start your match, it is etiquette to tag the film star role. So this is a role we're going to add into the Discord that people can give themselves. Essentially, when someone tags film star, that is notifying everyone with that role that a match is about to be played for war. It definitely gets people's butts in the seats to
Mm-hmm.
watch the game, discuss, etc. Either in Dueling Book or in the voice chat, and it gets hype. Like some of the best moments we had in War League came from the voice chat when something crazy happens. And from my 1 month of experience in Edison, a lot of craziness can occur.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you're not required to in the playoffs. You will, but not in regular season. But it is good etiquette to do that. Um, it could be tough though for newcomers that are still learning. They want to avoid people seeing their mistakes, but again, we're all in this together.
That's right.
Um, After you finish your match, there will be reporting done of the result from both players. The winner of the match will report in the War League scoreboard channel. They will report with the score, whether it be 2-0 or 2-1, and then they will mention who they beat so that we know like what to look for in the documents. You will also provide the replay. The replay is great because one, it shows proof that you won, and of course the winner is not going to hesitate or stall with posting it. So we want the winner to post the replay, and it will also be good to audit any um, issues that may have occurred, so that we as chiefs can determine any proper penalties to assess. And then on the other hand, this is also a good opportunity for many newcomers to learn how to play Edison, I guess, the right way, by focusing on the good players that will be posting the replays. So this type of system definitely improves the player base in the format. Like I know for Go format War League, the emphasis of turbo really went into the future. Like people essentially dropped control, picked up warriors and turbo, and became everyone became a sort of mini elite player. So that's the winner. The loser will post in the War League loss reports channel. So we are doing ranked games in this
Mm-hmm.
war. This is good for future seedings. Um, yeah, I think that's really what it is for. So just because you lost, I know you're gonna be raging, you're gonna be salty, you're gonna just turn off the laptop or computer and just go somewhere else. But make sure to report your loss as well. There will be a bot, I believe, a command to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's actually slash loss, and then you will it'll prompt you to tag your opponent. So you use their I believe it's a Discord name. It'll come up as, and
Mhm.
you would then use the right command, and then it will register a loss on your behalf, and your opponent will end up getting fake internet points, which will be ranking. And it's very important that the losers report the loss and the winners post the replay, and that they beat their opponent 2-0 or 2-1, like Insidious just said. This is very, very important because this is the meat and potato of War League. We have to have wins and losses reported correctly.
Yes, yes, we do. What
Take it away, my friend. Sorry.
else? No, that's all good. So yeah, okay. So yeah, once the match is reported, you all once all 5 matches are done throughout the week, you have until Saturday 10 p.m. Eastern to play your match. Once that is done, whichever team won at least 3 games out of the 5 pairings will win the week. Even if your team has already lost early in the week and not all matches are played out, you still play out your match because it is important for tiebreakers in the future, especially once playoffs are about to occur. So don't just think, oh, it's over, screw it. Like, no, this matters.
And for MVP race as well.
And for the MVP race as well. Yep. And that's the basics for a war week throughout the season. So we will be doing this 13 times. Each team is going to get one bye as each conference has 13 weeks. So not everyone is going to be playing every week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it will be 12 wars guaranteed. You'll be starting 5 players and having up to 3 substitutions. If it comes to a point where you do need to substitute player, that player gets in. They have to use the same deck list as that was submitted for the player they're substituting for. You cannot switch decks. If you do, there are penalties for that you don't want to see. Um, you cannot once you sub out, you cannot sub back in for someone else in that same week. I know we had this discussion before in Go for My War League. Like, oh, let me just rearrange my pairings so that we get a favorable matchups. Like, no, if you sub out, you can't sub back in for that week.
Yeah, and I like to make a point. This I actually played in Goat War League last year, and I was on a really good team. Wasn't playing a whole lot. I was more of like I was probably like 6 man up on the team, and I kind of stepped away from the whole team setting for a little bit, and was still cheering my team on, but not really engaged. And one week my team needed a sub, and it was me that needed a sub in, and I kind of like had to scramble to play and it was like a last minute thing. So you really need to be involved with your team. You may not be getting playtime every single week, depending on how strong your team is. I know myself, we're really trying to make sure that everybody's aware of their role in the team and how often they'll play. But in other words, you need to be ready to play at any given time. If something happens, maybe they got sick, heaven forbid, maybe they, whatever the case may be, and they can't play, you may be asked to play for them. So just because you're not the main 5 starter or whatever it may be doesn't mean you're not going to play.
Mm-hmm. Uh, and again, when in doubt, talk to your captain, talk to a chief. If you have ruling disputes, do make note of edisonformat.com. They have
Yes.
an extensive list of different rulings, some of the common ones being Ryko, Mind Crush, etc. Uh,
Yes.
do not wait uh, to figure it out. Go straight to edisonformat.com or tag a chief.
And I just like to make a point about the Mind Crush because there's been question about the ruling. So we're going to try to we are going to keep the ruling how it was historically, which was if your opponent discards the called card, the card that you named, then they do not reveal their hand. Oh, so because we're playing on Dueling Book, there's replays, so there's no reason to confirm. If they say that they discard one Blue Eyes White Dragon, then that's what they discard. You don't have to look at their hand to confirm because there's replays posted and everybody's watching these things. And if you lie and cheat you didn't discard the card, you're going to be suspended. That's just how it's going to be. We're not playing around with people doing foolish things this season. So Mind Crush, you call the right card, your opponent discards a copy of the card. That's the end of it. If they don't discard a copy, then you can verify. That's how it's always been. But
Mm-hmm.
Ryko is another one
Well,
that's a big issue with a lot of players. So I know there's a lot of GOAT players here. I just want to clarify the Ryko has been eroded, and the old school Ryko that we use, you destroy and then mill. That's the second effect. So I want people to make sure that they're aware of that when they're playing the card, because it can really cause some hectic in a game if you're not milling correctly or not using effects. So I highly recommend that you come to edisonformat.com. There's literally a rulings page. You can search for any card, and pretty much any question you have will be answered with this website. We also have some of the best judges around, at any given time. But it's a little bit harder during War Week because you're playing a match at whatever time you decide to play. But most of your rulings, I would say probably 90% of them can be answered with this website here.
Other things to consider. So these matches do matter. Like this is a regular season, but still for points, it still matters. You don't want to let your team down. Don't slow play, but do play carefully. Don't rush things. Don't play automatically, and just assume they have no way of stopping it. Heralds exist, cores exist, etc. Like, wait for your opponent to respond. I know we had a controversial thing with the thumbs up function. Uh, Again, do your due diligence. Ask for priority, or ask if your opponent is using priority. Label all the effects. Like a lot of issues can be avoided if you just communicate.
Correct. One other thing I want to point out with rulings and is the deck loading. So this happened a lot. I noticed in GOAT format was people were loading up the wrong decks that they submitted for their week. You must play with the deck list that you submitted. And if it happens a lot. You think that you just switched your deck up, and you want to play Chain Burn, and you usually play zombies, and the next thing you know, you try to jump into a game online, and then you don't have the Chain Burn deck saved because you just didn't do that. If that happens in War League and you catch it right away, then you're gonna get a game loss because you loaded up the wrong deck, but then you at least can switch it, right? If you play
Mhm.
the whole match with the wrong deck, that's cheating. There's gonna be consequences with that.
Yes, and you might think, no one checks for this. Like, we do accept deck checks via replay and comparison. So if you know someone who is usually a zombie player and they bring, like, I don't know, heroes or something, you can request a deck check, a simple deck check. There's no guarantee anything will be wrong, but or for example, you get paired up against like a, I don't know, a fairy player, and suddenly you're maining triple deck dev. Like, you can absolutely ask for a deck check just in case, because you never know who could try to be sly with that. Unfortunately,
Yes, that's 100%. Like, if you decide that you're going to be, the smartest guy in the room and main deck triple light imprisoning mirror because you happen to see that you're playing Pro Storm this week and you believe that they're going to be playing fairies, and you're going to kind of switch your deck up on the side and just start main decking some of those cards, you're going to get caught. It's pretty obvious. So and people are on the lookout for all this stuff. So let's be honest. Let's play fair. Mistakes are going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what. No matter what league we play in, we're all prone to these things. But outright cheating is going to be harshly penalized.
explaining a ruling to someone who's new, um, and that being a wrong ruling, that would count as a deception. So
Yeah.
again, be mindful that when in doubt, again, talk to a chief, a judge, or the website.
And this is a team weekly battle war rather, but there's no coaching. That's another thing I want to point out here. You cannot be in Discord calls and phone calls and having other people playing your matches.
Correct.
You must play your match at your scheduled time with your opponent. It's a team war. We prepare as a team. We train and play and do all that as a team, but you have to play your match.
And one last thing, a good reference point throughout the entire season, and we have it in the policy channel, would be this all in one that you see right now. That is like your Bible for the season. It has everything you need, including the rosters, the schedules, the time zones, the dueling book names, the match results, the replays, the standings, the
Yep.
rankings for MEP. I believe it all may also have the policy as well. But this, honestly, if you're playing again in a competitive league, I, for example, never turn my all-in-one off. Like, that's on my browser the entire season, because there's so many things that you can reference on there, or just see new results. So
Yeah,
definitely
definitely. This is
some
the
decks.
most important document of the whole season, I would say, besides the policy form. I know I
Hmm.
found this to be extremely useful playing in Go. Go War League was my first season last year. I was really trying to learn the game and get a little bit more competitive. In here, you can really watch all your matchups, and you can so if you know you're playing, Bing Bong next week, and you can look back at all the matches that they've played the entire season. So you can really get a good idea of what your opponent might be on. So this area here is extremely important. This is where the film study is. You got to hit the film sometimes if especially most weeks if you want to win. And again, War League standings, this is important to see where your team is. This is the individual rankings here. This is where we're going for MVP. I'm not entirely sure. It hasn't been confirmed yet what we're doing in terms of invites. I do believe it's going to be the winners, the winning team will all get a Worlds invite, and then we have to decide how we're doing the MVP invite. I don't know if it's going to be a tournament or what. I have to confirm, but invites for Edison Worlds will be given out with War League. Without a doubt, it's just a matter of confirmation.
And one thing you touched upon was the matches and film uh, archive and doing the studying for the matchup. We also have a tab there for deck usage history. So for those that you can see are consistently on one deck or multiple decks, you can better prepare for
Mm-hmm.
someone who sees always on a hero beat, or someone like, I don't know, Rognak, who can switch it up. So
Yes. And also, I saw here that there was a. Let me see if I can find this. There was some right here. This is a. I don't know if Goat had this at all, but I believe Snack was the one who created this here. This is a really just kind of showing how well each deck performed against one another, essentially. So obviously there's no data in here right now for the season, but as this goes on, you really see the matchups and which decks were strong versus others. So this just playing in Edison War League, I feel whether you get to play or not, if you're even just a bench player, I think that this is going to just really make you a better player in general because we have access to some of the best resources. A lot of people here that know far more than I do are putting together great information and tools that we can use. And if you do nothing but just watch film from some of the best players, like how can you not get better at the game, right?
hmm
So I don't know if there's anything else left to really talk about Insidious. This is kind of just a quick rundown of what a week entails and a little bit of our expectations. Again, we weren't going to hit every single point.
hmm
And the Discord Insidious is pretty much always available on there. Most of the quote unquote war chiefs and moderators are there to help with questions. And if I don't know something, I always refer to somebody, usually Insidious, who does. So we definitely can answer any question if you just give us a second to figure it out. But anything else you'd like to add?
Again, just communicate, stay on top of things, make yourself available, and just watch and enjoy. I mean, this is all for fun.
I agree. So with that being said, we just hit 700 subs, so we're pushing 1,000. That would be a great goal. This channel here is going to really post a lot of the War Leagues matches. I want to get into some of the great matches each week with some of the better players and try to showcase them on this channel here. Anything War League related will likely be on this channel here, and I'm sure Insidious will be making frequent debuts here. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.